Do you want to know what the best pitches and presentations have in common? They all tell a great story. For the first 10 years of my career, I worked as a professional actor and I got to hang out with some amazing storytellers like Sir Michael Gambon and Sir Ben Kingsley. For the last 15 years, I've been working with some of the biggest organisations on the planet to share the secrets that I learned on stage and screen to help their people communicate more effectively. When I share this sort of stuff with people in business, one of the biggest pieces of pushback I get is, look, I'm not a storyteller. That's what you do with kids' bedtime stories. We're a serious business. We've got an amazing idea and we can't be doing all of that crazy stuff. But the reality, of course, is that this is about narrative. It's about taking an audience on a journey. It's about having a clear beginning, middle, and end. There's a reason that Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings have sold millions of copies and been turned into blockbuster movie franchises. Human beings are hardwired for story. We love it. We love to sit back and enjoy the ride. And this is really, really important. If we want to be effective in the way that we pitch and present, we have to be more blockbuster. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is we don't want to confuse the audience. There are some amazing kind of art house movies, the Quentin Tarantino and Coen brothers stuff, but they require us to think. They require us to engage with the material, and most people don't want to do that, especially in a business context. If I want to grab your attention and take you on a journey, I want to choose the path of least resistance. I want to be able to give you your metaphorical bucket of popcorn and your litre of Coca-Cola and allow you to sit back and enjoy the show. So how do we think more blockbuster? Well, we keep the narrative simple. We have that beginning, middle, and end. We don't jump back and forwards in time. We don't introduce random characters halfway through that we never see again. We make it easy for our audience to connect. And if you look at the great movies, the franchises that turn over millions and millions of dollars, they follow a simple formula. And I'd like to share that formula with you so that you can put it into your pitches and presentations. In the world of screenwriting, the beginning of a film is called the setup. It's where we get to know the characters. We discover where in the world they are, what sort of genre we're playing with. And then the main chunk of the film is known as the confrontation. This is where the characters battle good and evil, or the girl nearly gets the boy, or the boy nearly gets the girl. And then the final section of the film is called the resolution. And this is where things get wrapped up neatly and we're set up for the next installment, or the movie ends and they all live happily ever after. What's really interesting is that if you look closely, there's a ratio. The great blockbuster films follow this simple formula. They spend 20% of the time in the setup, 70% of the time in the confrontation, and 10% of the time in the resolution. Let's use James Bond films as an example. So most of us have seen a James Bond film. Some of us have seen more than one. My question to you, if that's true, is just why? They're all exactly the same. And of course, I'm being kind of facetious. They all follow a repeatable formula, and we like that formula because it allows us to have certainty about what's coming next. So we spend 20% of the time in the setup. We discover who the baddie is, who the love interest is, what new car James Bond has got, what new weapons he might have, where in the world this thing is taking place. And then for the next 70% of the film, we are there in the confrontation. He nearly beats the baddie. He doesn't quite get the girl. There's a big explosion. There's a car chase. There's another gunfight. All of that sort of stuff goes on until right at the end, things are wrapped up neatly in that resolution, in the final 10% of the film. Now, it's really clear to me that you've never seen James Bond take the Aston Martin to the car wash or the suit to the dry cleaners. We get out on a high. We normally leave him looking out over the sunset or sipping a cocktail in a swanky location. So how do we apply this in a business context? Well, it's pretty simple. For the first 20% of your pitch or presentation, you set the scene. You let us understand who the key players are, where in the world we are, what some of the challenges are. The next 70% is the confrontation. This is where you take us on a journey. You showcase the development process that the product has been through, or the challenges that you've had on the particular product, and the varying recommendations that you might be wanting to make, or the things that you want people to make a decision on. And then the final 10% is the resolution. This is where you make that call to action, you make the ask, you make the sale, you get that buy-in from your audience and the logical next step. It doesn't have to be hugely dramatic. It might be nice if it was, but ultimately what we're doing is we're keying into people's affinity with that natural story arc, the beginning, the middle, the end, the 20, 70, 10. So if you've got a 10-minute presentation, it's 2 minutes in the setup, 7 minutes in the confrontation, and 1 minute in the resolution. Try it out and let me know how you get on. And if you really want to develop the way that you pitch and present, then head over to dominiccolenso.com and take our scorecards, which will benchmark you against the 6 ingredients of impact. I'll see you in the next video.